Sephora stores are everywhere you are. So just pop in. When you need a brown lip to match your 90s playlist. A confidence boost before your interview? Or a last-minute gift for mom's birthday. There's always a Sephora near you. Just pop in. Use our store locator to find your local Sephora or Sephora at Kohl's.
Today on CityCast Chicago, the first round of the NCAA basketball tournament begins today. And while I love filling out a March Madness bracket as much as the next person, I'm also low-key watching out for what the nation's best college hoopers are wearing on their feet when the buzzer beaters start dropping. So while we're rooting for our local teams or alma maters, we wanted to revisit a place where basketball meets fashion. Last year, I took a trip to Sneakerhead University in the Loop with former CityCaster Carrie Shepard. We met up with creator Shay Belvin to learn why she had to put her gym shoe museum right here in Chicago. It's Thursday, March 21st. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. I am excited to be here down at Sneakerhead University with Shay. Shay, this is basically a museum and art exhibit dedicated to sneakers. But before we get into what's all here, I got to know the namesake of the place, Sneakerhead. Do you kind of have a sense of where this kind of comes from? Because for me, sneakerhead, hypebeast, sometimes they can be used in a way to judge people, but they also represent this fandom.
So Sneakerhead even got it on the wall. So here in the walls of Sneakerhead University, it just means a sneaker enthusiast who collects, trades, or overall admires sneakers, or someone who just appreciates the knowledge and history behind it.
Okay.
Oh, and just to tie into that too, one thing I wanted to make sure as I was creating the museum was to not overdo it on hype. So we have a nice balance of hype and nostalgia in here, because sometimes it's not about just what everybody wants, but more so about those things that you look at and it's like, I remember that. I remember when I went and got that even from the Kmart or the JCPenney or whatever, that one commercial. So yeah, just hitting on those shoes that almost everybody can't get, and then also the ones that everybody did have that we forgot about.
Yeah. I remember being in high school, like thinking about the old love, new love Jordan pack, right? One was black, red, and white. The other was yellow, black, and white. I was super late on them, right? I was going through high school. Multiple people had the mismatch on with the white tee. And I was like, damn, I need these. Couldn't afford them. Saved up some money from my job in high school. Went to the Foot Locker. Was still able to get a brand new pair. That's not happening today. If you're an hour late, 50 minutes, 15 minutes, the shoes are gone, and the next time you see them, I got these Cactus Jack 1s on raffle, $175. These cost $1,500 now online. What is it like to be in this culture and know that it's also pushing up against this pressure that people who admire, who trade, who want to collect, if you don't have enough money or if you don't have an in, it's hard to get these sort of prized possessions?
Yeah, so I'll say me personally, my whole collection's invested in here, but ever since I've started this museum, again, I really can't get my hands on anything either. So I totally understand the pressures and I agree. And that's why we're also trying to push the fact that it's not always about the hype. Come to a workshop, create your own, show your own personality regardless. It's just about showing the kind of swag that you have inside and out, which you can create yourself. So,
but when you were starting to think about this place, was there an original shoe? Was there a story that you knew you had to tell? I know there are 14 different exhibits, but there was one like that sort of just like got the snowball rolling.
I would say it's a tie between Jordan's story, Kanye's story, and Virgil Abloh.
No, good point.
So yeah, all three of them I realized were basically in Chicago for very pivotal points of their careers and transformational points in their fashion careers as well. So I would say, if there was one shoe, definitely the band, of course.
Okay.
So it's Jordan's first shoe that he came out with that was actually banned from when he was playing basketball, and Nike had to pay him like a huge amount of money every game just to incentivize him to keep wearing it.
All right, now, Michael, is this the shoe? Now, of course, we can't show what kind of shoe this is.
That's okay. The color stands for
But
it.
is this the shoe that the NBA wouldn't let you wear?
Yeah.
Now, why wouldn't they let you wear it? Just because it's ugly,
I
I guess,
never
for
seen
starters.
Hey, I agree with you. They are ugly.
Now, wait a minute. Didn't you help design these?
The shoe, not the coloring.
Oh, not the
I didn't
color.
have anything to do with
Okay,
the
so,
color.
but what's wrong with the coloring? What rule do we violate here?
Well, it doesn't have any white in it.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny because upstairs in the video, it literally shows like a reporter during the debut of him wearing it. And he was like, that is the ugliest shoe I've ever seen. That is going nowhere. He needs to put Converse back on. Like, what is going on? But I think stories like that, it just shows that you can be a pioneer, and sometimes it seems like you're completely alone in whatever you're doing. But eventually people will follow. If you really believe in it and you got something good going, yeah, people will follow.
That moment really becomes like this nexus point for sneaker culture, because when you think about it, the marketing campaign behind the band, you see it in the picture of the 1985 slam dunk contest. And so it really became this moment where people was like, it's not just the shoe, but like you said, it's the story, it's the people behind it, it's the way you sell it.
Yeah.
You saw Spike Lee get brought into the story.
I have a Spike Lee
Of course you do.
little dedication up
We see
there.
a little Mars over here on the
Yes.
locker.
Yes. So yeah, another person who's super pivotal in the Black story and as well as sneaker culture. So yeah, like Do the Right Thing, School Days. But yeah, he has a lot of movies that he made sure every character was wearing some really sick like shoes all throughout the 80s, the 90s, things like that. And basically he was a huge cause for a lot of sneakers to sell out. And to this day, he has his own dedicated Jordan as well.
Yeah, so when you get up to the back of the second floor, you start to look at just some of the most popular Jordans of all time. So you're seeing the Band 1, which looks like a re-release version of it. But again, that was the 1985, one of the original 3 colorways they dropped. The Black Cement 3, which is the 3rd version of the Jordan shoes.
Okay.
And then you have different colorways, different variations of those shoes.
So how many total you think with all the colors and stuff?
It's got to be, got to be into the thousands.
Like tens of thousands, probably,
I'm just
right?
thinking just the different colorways of each. So each shoe, like this Jordan has probably hundreds of colorways, the same for every other version. And then they have like deconstructed versions. They have low top, high top versions.
How much is something like this going to run you, some of these?
Oh, I mean, one of the great things about sneakers is they pretty much like look at them in the same way you would think of like the stock market. So there's like this website or this app called StockX. It's one of many websites that you could look that if you go to it, it'll tell you what is the running value of that shoe right now. So
Oh my
we look
gosh,
at
no way.
The Bread Jordan 11. Right now, the lowest ask is $497, and this is the 2019 version. And the highest bid is for $435.
There's got to be like the ultimate collector in the world who
Oh,
has like
for sure.
a million sneakers.
100%.
And they don't necessarily wear them all, right?
I'd argue the biggest collectors aren't actually wearing them, but then you have some people like a PJ Tucker who is in the league, is known as one of the greatest sneaker collectors in the world. He's like, sneakers are made to be worn. He has way too many
Love
to
that.
actually wear.
Love
but
that.
his idea is, nah, I bought these to wear these.
Shipping can make or break a sale, so optimize how you ship your orders with ShipStation. They make it easy to automate and manage orders no matter how big your business grows. And they might even be able to help reduce shipping and warehouse costs. So optimize and keep up your momentum for growth with ShipStation. Sign up for your free 60-day trial now at ShipStation.com and use the code POD. That's ShipStation.com with the code POD.
I got to know, where does your love of gym shoes, sneakers, tennis shoes, kicks, whatever people call them, where does that love come from?
So my love actually just comes for the people behind the actual sneaker creations.
Okay.
So I didn't actually grow up a sneakerhead or anything like that, but once I decided to immerse myself in like the stories that are told behind the name brands like Adidas or Nike or Reebok themselves, realizing that there's so many creatives that actually bring this whole brand together, that's what my passion comes from, being able to tell their story and give them flowers, because people usually overlook them, and that's what everyone is wearing worldwide. Everyone can relate to it. They bring us so many memories for different things, whether it's movies, music, things like that. So I just want to give them their flowers.
You are a one-stop shop, owner, creator, ambassador, mouthpiece for Sneakerhead University. it's really cool to be in this space as somebody who grew up really just idolizing sneakers. They weren't something me and my family could afford when I was growing up. So I could just remember picking up like an East Bay, right? And just looking at it like, I'm going to get this one, I'm going to get this one, I'm going to get this one. So you talk about you fell in love with sneakers in a way through the stories. Which shoe and which story were you like, there's more to these designs, more to this aesthetic than just what's on the foot?
So honestly, I went to a HBCU, and I knew I wanted to be able to give back to the Black community in some way of whatever I'm doing. So that's kind of how my passion tied into it. It wasn't necessarily one shoe, but really just overall about telling the Black story. And from there, I was inspired by everyone's story. And then that's also where the workshop came in, because it was like, I want to give people the chance to tell their own story when they come in here after being inspired or show their own personality, things like that.
That's a good transition point, because when you come to Sneakerhead University, right, we kind of live in that age of like Instagrammable content. So you come in here, we're just in the lobby right now, and it's like, it feels like there's an opportunity for a picture everywhere, but this is more than just sort of a place for picture, a place for sneaker history. Can you describe the university to folks?
So the university, it is 14 different rooms. Each room is themed on a regular university class, but we twist it into sneakers. So like astrophysics is all things Astro World, Travis Scott dedicated. Exactly. Yep. So talking about his highest selling kicks, and then just playing into his personality on like different landscapes of art.
You still hoop it up sometimes?
A little bit.
A little bit. Get some exercise.
As soon as you walk through, you already start seeing some of the shoe brands we've been talking about. But one that I really love is the Como des Garçons. That's the shoe that you see on your left. Like, its marker is usually like this heart with eyes. So they have like a T-shirt, and like the logo will be like a heart with eyes. They've partnered with Converse to do.
I was going to say, I thought those were Converse every time I see them.
It's a really nice shoe. I just don't look good in Converse because I wear a 13, and so they just look like clown shoes.
Totally.
Converse are one of those, they only look good, I think, on small feet.
It's true. It's true. I agree with this.
This is an absolute beautiful shoe. This is a Jordan 4 Hinder scheme. I mean, what color is this? It's like a...
sort of like a nude tan.
Yeah.
And it's all nude. So it's like there's... and the shoelace is leather.
Yeah, it's got a little suede on it. It's built with some leather.
Ooh. I would wear those. In fact, I have a pair of shoes like that. Not even the Reeboks I'm wearing. I have some like that.
Some of those names you mentioned, right? You got Virgil Abloh, the late Virgil Abloh, who was the designer behind Off-White, which had major collaborations with Jordan. I remember when he had the exhibit at the MCA, just seeing hundreds and hundreds of his deconstructed Jordans. You talk about Michael himself, right? Played for the Bulls, 13 seasons, hundreds and hundreds of colorways. So it'd be easy to say, why Chicago? Because we have such a huge place. But, you were working in North Carolina during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You're originally from Detroit.
Yeah.
Why did this have to come to Chicago for you?
I just felt I should go where I thought the people would be naturally most passionate about the subject. And also, at the time, Virgil Abloh, when I started building this, was still alive. So I was really hoping to have Kanye through here. I was hoping to have Virgil through here. And hopefully Michael Jordan. As of right now, it's looking like maybe Jordan. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed on that one. But I just wanted to make sure I took it to where I knew the people, no matter what age, would be able to relate. Even I see like kids who are 5 years old running in here excited about Jordan game highlights. That's not something you might see in Oklahoma necessarily.
Shout out to all the people in Oklahoma.
Yeah. I just think here it's somewhere naturally that you grow up and it's a part of the actual Chicago culture.
What is it like to watch people come up here maybe with a plain pair of Forces and leave with something that is unique to their story, unique to their taste?
I love it. So we have two different crowds here. We have our BYOB crowd, which is like our date night crowd. They bring their bottles.
Okay.
And it's cute to see like either one, you have like the wives who are bringing in their husband, who you can tell he just loves sneakers and he's just fanning out like he's just in heaven right now. Or you have the first daters who this is just like a little icebreaker. Or you have the kid crowd who comes in. I love seeing them because they're so independent. They barely want to even ask for help. They just want to know the tools, the steps, leave me alone. And it doesn't even matter how their creation turns out. They're just like, I did this and I'm going to wear this.
So we're looking at the workshop right now where the students are, and it looks like a classroom, right? You have your desk set up, you got chairs everywhere, you got inspiration pictures on the board. You can see through the glass into Shay's sneaker workshop. So she's pulling down tools for everybody, from paint, brushes, like tape so that when you're painting you don't like paint the wrong part, a cleaner.
So yeah, I just love seeing the confidence on their faces, whether they had a first date that went well, they ended up just having a great night because they were sipping wine all night, or their kids learned something new and they feel empowered, and who knows what kind of hobby they'll use this in high school and middle school and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just different reactions, but each one is gratifying.
I think I can trust my own taste when I think about what makes a good shoe. Like some of my favorite shoes, obviously the Jordan 1 Cactus Jack. I have the Sean Wotherspoon Air Max 97s, which I've absolutely ruined. The corduroy is so dirty now. But when I saw like those two shoes, for example, I was like, I don't think I was sort of moved by the hype behind those shoes. I was like, no, these are actually beautiful. So for you, what's your favorite sneaker of all time?
It's not in here because I wore mine to death. And it's so plain. You might judge me, but my favorite sneaker of all time is Rick Owens. Just the plain old, kind of like mid-top, I don't know, past the ankle, like Converse style Rick Owens. I love his shoes.
Okay, no,
they
I
go
didn't
with
expect
so many
that one. I like
outfits.
it.
There's skirts, dresses, cargo pants, skinny jeans. I mean, that is the shoe for me. So it literally looks just like the black and white Converse, but he made the toe kind of Mickey Mouse fat. And then the laces are kind of cream. So it's almost like an uglier version of the Converse that just looks so great.
Thank you so much for allowing CityCast Chicago to come down to Sneakerhead University. Even if you're not someone who owns a bunch of shoes, finds yourself very interested, what is really cool here is you can learn the stories, the people behind a lot of these shoes, even if you don't want to pick up a pair for yourself. So thank you so much, Shay.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, we're going to break down the latest primary results in tomorrow's podcast to see what shifted since election night. To stay up to date with the latest results, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, Hey Chicago, at chicago.citycast.fm. Some good news. You can catch me hosting the Moth Grand Slam this Saturday at the Athenaeum Theater. This show is made up of 10 storytellers from across the city who have won local Moth Slams. It's going to be a good time. As always, I appreciate you for listening and reading. We're going to be back bright and early tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Peace. I want to say gym shoe because I don't say sneaker.